Hi, in today's video we will explore two very important concepts in algebra: multiplying variables and constants and distributing a negative sign over an expression, right? So if you are confused by negative signs or unsure how to work with letters like X or A, whether they appear alone or combined with numbers, don't worry. We are going to break it all down step by step with clear and simple examples to help you understand, right? Let us begin with multiplying variables and constants. Before we start, let us understand what is a constant and a variable. A constant is a fixed number like 2, 5 or -3. Its value does not change, right? A variable is a letter that represents a number like x, a or m. The value of a variable can change depending on the problem you are solving. Let us see how to multiply a constant and a variable. It is simple. You just write them next to each other without using a multiplication sign. For example, let us multiply 2 and x, right? As explained, we do not use a multiplication sign between them. We just write it as 2 and x both together, right? And this means 2 times x. Okay? Another example is 5 multiplied by y. In this case also we are going to write 5 and y all together without using a multiplication sign. This means 5 times y. Okay? Let us understand how to multiply two constants and a variable. For this, let us take an example. Here we are multiplying two constants or numbers 3 and 4 and one variable, that is x, right? In this case, we will multiply constants or numbers first, that is 3 multiplied by 4 is equal to 12. We are multiplying only constants first. So I will write 12 and then we will write variable as it is, 12x. So this is the answer. Let us take another example. In this case also we will multiply numbers first. 4 multiplied by 5 is 20 and then attach the variable, that is y. So result of this multiplication is 20y. Okay. Now let us take a third scenario. Here we multiply two variables, right? For example, m multiplied by n. Here m and n both are variables, right? To multiply them, we simply write them next to each other. So the result is mn, right? We do not use a multiplication sign between variables when writing the final answer. Here is another example. In this case, we are multiplying the same variable x 2 times. So following the same rule, we might think the answer is xx, right? But in algebra, when we multiply the same variable more than once, we write the variable once, that is x, and raise it to the power of how many times it's multiplied. Here x is multiplied 2 times, so we raise it to the power of 2 like this, right? So the result is x to the power 2 or x squared. Okay. One more example. Here the variable a is multiplied 3 times. So we write a and raise it to the power of 3, right? This is the answer. This is also called as a cubed. Okay. Let us see few more examples. -2 multiplied by x. We have already seen how to multiply numbers with different signs. Here we are multiplying a negative number, that is -2, with a positive variable, that is x, right? Since a negative multiplied by a positive always gives a negative result. You have seen earlier that negative multiplied by positive is always negative, right? So the answer of this multiplication will be, when 2 is multiplied by x, we saw it's 2x and there will be a negative sign. So the answer of this multiplication, -2 multiplied by x, will be -2x, right? So always remember, negative multiplied by positive is equal to negative, right? Let us take one more example. In this case, we are multiplying a negative number, that is minus 3, with a negative variable, that is minus x. And we know that negative multiplied by negative is always result in positive. Okay. So when we multiply minus 3 with minus x, we get a positive result, that is 3x. Okay. In this case, 4a means 4 multiplied by a, and we are multiplying that by another number 5, right? So in this case, let us multiply the numbers first. 4 multiplied by 5 is 20, and then we are going to write variable next to it, 20a, right? This is the answer. Okay. Here we are multiplying two terms that each have a number and a variable, right? So first multiply the constants. Here 3 multiplied by 2 is equal to 6. I will write 6 here. Then multiply the variable. M multiplied by m is equal to m squared. Here we have 1m, here we have 2m. So 6m square, right? And this is the final result. So remember few things. Number multiply like normal, right? Variable follow multiplication rules, and negative sign matters. We have already covered this in the last video. I will provide the video link in the description. Now let us move to distributing a negative sign. Okay. This part is super important in algebra, especially when dealing with brackets, right? So let us begin with what is distribution. Distribution means multiplying something outside the brackets with everything inside the bracket, right? For example, minus is multiplied by a plus b inside the bracket, right? So we can also write it like this: minus 1 multiplied by a plus b, right? So this means we are distributing minus 1 to both terms inside the parenthesis. So we will further break it down. This is equal to minus 1 multiplied by a, and this is minus a, and minus 1 multiplied by b will result in minus b. Okay. Therefore, minus multiplied by a plus b is equal to minus a minus b, right? If you look closely, the sign of each term inside the parentheses has changed. So a is positive here, b is positive here, and after distributing the negative sign, positive a become negative a and positive b also become negative b, right? So here is the golden rule. If a negative sign is in front of parenthesis, it changes the sign of every term inside the parenthesis, right? Let us take a few examples. Minus multiplied by a minus b. This means minus 1 multiplied by a minus b, right? Now distribute minus 1 to each term, that is minus 1 multiplied by a is equal to minus a, and minus 1 multiplied by minus b is equal to positive b, because you know negative multiplied by negative is equal to positive, right? So the result is minus a plus b, right? Let us take one more example. Here again we can write it as minus 1 multiplied by 5x plus 3. So this is equal to minus 1 multiplied by 5x. This is going to be minus 5x, and minus 1 multiplied by 3 is equal to minus 3, right? So the result is minus 5x minus 3, right? Here you see the sign of both the terms inside the bracket, that is plus 5x and plus 3, have changed to minus 5x minus 3 when we distributed the negative sign, right? So in all these examples, we have seen that there is only minus sign or minus 1 before the bracket. Now, what if there is a number before the negative? Let us take one example. In this case, we need to distribute minus 3 to both the terms inside the bracket, right? And here is how we do it. So minus 3 multiplied by 2x, this is going to be minus 6x, and then for second term minus 3 multiplied by 5 is equal to minus 15, right? So the final result is minus 6x minus 15. Remember, you are multiplying each term by minus 3 and the sign changes accordingly, right? Would you like to try solving this example? Write your answer in the comments below. Okay? Let us quickly recap. To multiply constants and variables, multiply the numbers and add the exponents when multiplying the same variables, right? Distributing a negative flips the sign inside the brackets, so be careful. These two topics are the foundation of algebra and you will use them everywhere, right? Whether it's simplifying expressions or solving equations. I hope you understood this concept. In my next video, I will bring more examples. Thank you for watching.